If you're a frequent viewer, you might be thinking, Aiden, what about Variety Friday? Why have we got back-to-back Overwatch videos? And to that I say, nothing is happening in Marvel Rivals at the minute except they keep adding new skins and ignoring balancing. PS5 has no games except Death Stranding 2, but that literally just came out and Jacksepticeye's already playing it. And Overwatch just got a new season, so shut up. Anyway, this new season started on Tuesday, so I've had a fair few days to form my own opinion on how I feel about all of the new additions and changes, and they're good. They're very good. Overwatch had a major bounce back last season with the introduction of Stadium and overall quality of life updates like hero bans in comp, and in this season, it continues to expand on that with the addition of map voting, new heroes in Stadium, map reworks, and an entirely new map, Atlas. I might sound like I'm repeating myself here if you watch my last video, but this video is more of my opinion rather than the facts of, oh, this is coming and that's coming. The season's out, you all know what's in the game. I just want to add my own insight and kind of discuss these new features more in depth from my own experiences with them. So without further ado,
let's break it. Damn!
I haven't used that clip in a while, have I? Now, in my last video, I didn't really go too in-depth about the new heroes being added to Stadium. I mentioned that Sigma, Junkrat, and Zenyatta are joining the Stadium roster, but I didn't really go all that in-depth about their abilities and stuff like that, because we didn't actually know what their abilities were. Now that we can actually play around with them, I can confidently say that Sigma and Zenyatta are my favourites out of the 3 new additions. Junkrat is just kind of there, which is reasonable because he's already pretty strong in the base game. But the amount of potential that can be unlocked from a stupid build on both Sigma and Zenyatta is just crazy. Orb of Destruction builds on Zenyatta go absolutely insane and just completely melt the enemy team, and weapon power Sigma is stronger than I think any of us thought he was going to be. Going into this season, I thought an Accretion build on Sigma was going to be the meta, but you really don't have to build Accretion. Just pick perks and power-ups that make hyperspheres stronger and you'll be sending the enemy team back to spawn very fast. As for the new maps, there's not really much to say about them because they are literally just shortened versions of the core maps. But I think they fit really well into Stadium and it's nice to have more variety. The next thing I want to talk about are some of the buffs and nerfs, because when I say Dive got a huge buff, I mean it. Tracer is now an absolute menace thanks to the fact that her damage has been buffed from 5.5 to 6, which pairs well with the passive buff, which has been increased from 25% healing reduction to 30% healing reduction. This season is already looking miserable for tanks. However, to counter the fact that the DPS passive got buffed, we've seen heroes like Lucio and Moira have their healing buffed. Lucio going from 16 to 20 healing per second, and Moira going from 70 to 80 healing per second. Overall, I don't think there's any one buff that's absolutely broken, but that Tracer buff is strong as hell. If you're not already playing Tracer this season, you should definitely start playing her. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the new map, Atlas. It's not great. Sure, it's a lot smaller than the other Flashpoint maps, so it's easier to get from point A to point B. It doesn't feel like you're running a marathon, but all of the problems that they fixed in the reworks of New Junk City and Saravasa are present in this map. I thought they would have learned that having a bunch of winding paths and just generally random crap all over the place acting as cover was a bad thing when making this map, especially since they reworked this kind of stuff in the older maps. I'm not saying that I hate the new map, it's just kind of all over the place and it's probably going to take a bit of getting used to. It's a very confined map, so it's kind of difficult to get any value out of movement based heroes, with the exception of Lucio, because there's a lot of spots to wall ride on. It's majority a bunch of alleyways that act like choke points, which is frustrating, but it's good for Lucio because you can get above the choke. The last thing I want to talk about is the Battle Pass, because in all honesty, there isn't much else to talk about. The Battle Pass is, is definitely on the weaker end.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
They combine the retro arcade and school themes together, but both of these themes aren't really that good. The skins we get for free in it are pretty good for free skins, I'll give them that, but the rest of it is just kind of ass. I wish we just keep the theme of the season based around the theme of the mythic skin, because it means that we don't get a bunch of random crap. I know mythology has been somewhat done to death in Overwatch, but if they wanted to do a school theme, why didn't they just fully commit to it? Why mix two things and half-ass it when you can commit to one theme and do a really good job at it? It's not awful, it just leaves a lot to be desired. But that just about does it for this video. I mean, I could talk about the G.I. Joe collab, but I really don't give a shit about it. The Genji skin is cool, sure, but I don't really care about G.I. Joe. It hasn't been relevant for God knows how many years, but I guess it was an easy collab to get, considering they've already worked with Hasbro. Yes, G.I. Joe is a Hasbro trademark. Who knows, maybe we'll get a twofer like we did last season with Gundam and Street Fighter. Anyways, the rest of the season is pretty good, and the additions to Stadium are great. That game mode just keeps improving every update. The only gripes I have are that Atlas is kind of confusing and has a fair share of choke points, and the theme of the season pass is a bit all over the place because there's a blend of two themes rather than just one. I know they did that last season, but it seems really apparent this season. Overall, it's pretty good.
Nice job, team.
Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as it lets me know that you've enjoyed it and you want to see more. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure you check out some of my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.